This is Lou Dobbs This Week. News, debate, and opinion. Here again, Mr. Independent, Lou Dobbs.
Joining me now, three of the best political analysts and CNN contributors in the country. In our D.C. bureau is syndicated columnist Diana West. Diana, good to have you with us. Here in New York with me, syndicated columnist Miguel Perez. Miguel, welcome. And Democratic strategist Hank Scheinkoff. Good to see you, Hank. Diana, let's start with you. How many houses should a presidential candidate have? What should they cost? And how much should he or she have made in the previous year?
I actually loved this exchange. This was, of course, the housing gaffe where John McCain didn't know about his number of houses he had, because his spokesman came back and threw everything at Senator Obama and his $4 million yearly take last year, his housing sweetheart deal with, you know, the unsavory Tony Rezko, and his private vacation. I loved this rapid response with gangbusters. It was great.
What do you think, Hank?
I think that McCain won the argument. I think that the cutting back was pretty quick. I think people are going to wonder why it matters at all. What does come out of this is that Obama made $4 million and that he got some help from a unsavory fella. Okay. That's not so good.
I mean, I don't know who wrote this response to this nonsense. And let's first, let's show you what the Obama campaign is doing in its ad on this issue. And I should say very quickly, the issue was McCain was asked by Politico.com how many houses he had. He says, I don't know. My staff will get back to you on that. This is how Barack Obama's folks are trying to make hay with it.
Somebody asked John McCain, how many houses do you have? And he said, I'm not sure. I'll have to check with my staff. True quote.
Well, I would hope it's a true quote. My goodness. Well, here is, and this is one sentence. This is how the McCain campaign responded. Does a guy who made more than $4 million last year, just got back from vacation on a private beach in Hawaii and bought his own $1 million mansion with the help of a convicted felon, really want to get into a debate about houses? What do you think, Miguel?
You live in a glass house, you cannot throw stones.
Very good.
And the thing is, I mean, you know, look, Obama has his own problems. He should have never raised the housing issue whatsoever. But, you know, we should all be so lucky that we don't remember how many houses we own. This is the American way. You know, when did it become illegal or a problem for you to be rich to run for president?
Well, let me ask a question. Because what really is being implied here, if not outright in bold subtext at least, is that if you are successful, if you are wealthy, you can't represent the national interest, you can't represent working men and women in this country. You know, John F. Kennedy, Ted Kennedy, all should, I mean, they should have been, why isn't the Democratic Party invalidating them? Because it's precisely the same situation. Anybody want to guess how many houses Ted Kennedy has?
If that's the standard, both candidates have to be disqualified.
If that's the standard, Franklin Roosevelt was never president of the United States.
That's
Look
right.
what's going on
or
here.
Teddy Roosevelt.
No, Franklin Roosevelt, the great defender of
right.
blue-collar people in this country. Look, what is going on here is Barack Obama is trying to become the populist, and he figures this is a way of attack. What they're trying to tell you, Lou, is that they're not going to have a discussion about issues. They're going to just bang McCain's brains in, and that's how they intend to win. I don't think that's going to work necessarily.
You know, it's really not working, because the fact is we have a tied race here. You know, with all of the national media being, as I've been saying here for months, in the tank, my colleagues in the national media are absolutely biased, in the tank, supporting the Obama candidacy while claiming the mantle of objectivity, whether they're on the front page of the Washington Post, the New York Times, whether it's any one of the newscasts. I mean, it's ridiculous. Now we have a situation where everything's tied up here, Diana. Is it possible, however, for Senator McCain to actually gain a significant lead here?
Well, I think it is possible. I mean, it's really hard to say exactly how these things are going, but this kind of superficial attack from the Obama campaign is not helping him at all. And you have to remember that this particular attack came within 24 hours of another Obama ad that was trying to link McCain to Ralph Reed, to the convicted lobbyist Jack Abramov,
and
the McCain campaign.
They've got 527s out on the attack.
Exactly, and the McCain campaign came back with another huge response, talking about, if you want to play guilt by association, let's talk some more about former weatherman William Ayers.
What happened to the post-partisan, lofty, elevated discourse we're going to have, Miguel?
I'm still waiting for it, unfortunately, and so.
But who wants it?
We're all waiting. Look, you know what the media has failed at here is putting pressure on Obama, especially because McCain wanted to do those meetings together with Obama, those public forums.
Town hall meetings.
Yeah. And Obama has really evaded the issue, and the media has not been after him for it. And I think that's disgraceful.
Oh, I think the way the national media in this country right now is performing is disgraceful. And I mean, when the Washington Post had the courage to admit that Deborah Howell, the public editor, the ombudsman for the Washington Post, ran a piece this past Sunday, acknowledging that the Washington Post had put Barack Obama on the front pages of the Washington Post 3 times as many times as Senator McCain. Time magazine has run 7 covers with Obama. McCain, too. I mean, this is not close, folks, and it is ugly, it is nasty, and I guarantee you, we are watching a shift in the way in which the media in this country, which is already reviled by the public, I believe it's going to be even worse. I'm an advocacy journalist. I'm an independent populist. When I speak, people know where I'm coming from. When these news organizations are doing this and trying to pretend, cloaking themselves in the mantle of objectivity, you know, they're silly, churlish, absolutely, in my opinion, despicable phonies. They need to step out and either be objective or get their opinions out where it can be examined. We're going to be right back. Next, Hank Scheinkoff. He'll tell us about what he thinks of media bias. We'll be right back.
A building story from Crestor.
While we were building our life,
something else was building in my arteries. Dangerous plaque. It had been building up most of my life. My doctor said it's a progressive disease called atherosclerosis.
And with his high cholesterol, he prescribed Crestor to help slow the buildup of plaque.
Along with diet, Crestor lowers bad cholesterol, raises good, and is approved to slow the progression of atherosclerosis.
Is Crestor right for you? Ask your doctor.
Crestor isn't for everyone. Like people with liver disease or women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant, simple blood tests will check for liver problems. Tell me about other medicines you're taking, or if you have muscle pains or weakness. That could be a sign of serious side effects.
Talk to your doctor about plaque buildup and find out if it's time for Crestor.
If you can't afford your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
Across America, people without prescription drug coverage are saving on their medicines with the free Together Rx Access card. Here are some of their stories.
This card was so easy. Boom, went in, they verified it, and I got the savings right away.
Over 1 million people have signed up so far, so we saved a lot of money in prescriptions using the card.
Very easy. All you do is hand the pharmacist your card.
With my savings, I go shopping. I buy shoes.
Become part of a growing success story. Millions of people are eligible for prescription savings. The Together Rx Access program.
It made me feel really good.
Attention, diabetics with Medicare.
If you're a diabetic, I have news that could change your life. USA Medical has a new and nearly pain-free way to test your blood glucose. No more painful finger pricks. This new meter allows you to test on your arm or your palm, and it's virtually pain-free. But that's not all. It talks.
Your blood glucose reading is 97.
Seeing and hearing your reading helps confirm accuracy. Best of all, USA Medical will send you one.
I made the call. USA Medical handled everything. The meter and my testing supplies showed up at the front door. Couldn't be easier.
With USA Medical, you can get all your diabetic supplies delivered to your door. They pay shipping, they work with Medicare and your doctors, and they handle the paperwork.
I don't test on my fingers anymore. I use my arm, and I can barely feel it. And I love how this meter talks to me.
Your blood glucose reading is 103.
Change the way you test. Call USA Medical.
Hey, political junkies, don't wait until Monday. Tonight, get a preview of all the convention action live from the convention floor in Denver. Wolf Blitzer and the best political team. CNN Convention Kickoff, tonight, 8 Eastern.
Well, we're back, and I want to take a look at the Time magazine cover. 7 times in the past year, Barack Obama has been placed on the cover of Time magazine. Now, and John McCain twice. Hank Shankoff, that is rather typical of the inundation of affection, the inundation of Barack Obama with the affection of the national media. What's your reaction as a Democratic strategist?
Good for Democrats, not so good for the nation in the long term. Barack Obama is interesting. He's new, therefore he is news, okay? The fact that a black man can reach that pinnacle of success, raise the amount of money, run this kind of organization, and beat Hillary Clinton is big news. At some point, there has to be some fairness in the discussion. The problem here from the beginning is from the day Obama showed up, I was wondering when the reporters were going to start chiseling his face onto Mount Rushmore, and the guy hadn't even won the nomination yet. That's the danger here, Lou. And people know it, and they're not stupid. Average guy says, wait a second, I want news, and he ain't getting it.
He's not getting it. He's not getting it for a lot of reasons, and she's not getting it. We're not getting it. Because budgets have been cut by corporate mainstream media. We have fewer people making, in point of fact, in many cases, less money to do an even bigger job in a more complex society. Miguel, your reaction?
Oh, look, in reaction to what both of you are saying and what Hank just said about what's new, I went to journalism school. I teach journalism. You have to put aside what's new in terms of when it comes to fairness. And when you're covering an election, you definitely have to be fair to both sides. And what's new is not a valid argument for the media. So, you know, as a member of the media, I can tell you that it's wrong to be doing that. You know, absolutely wrong.
I mean, why not just? I've said for some time, Diana West, that I believe, because I issue from time to time a few strong opinions. But as I say, everyone knows where I come from, and I'm making no bones about what I'm doing. I'm an advocacy journalist. But I truly believe, Diana West, that and I'd like you all to think about this, maybe every reporter on television, every editor, every reporter in newspapers, magazines, and on the web, there ought to be a little identification, like we put at the lower third of that screen, for an elected official. D or Republican from Iowa or Des Moines, whatever. Put that under the journalist.
Well, that's why
declare yourself.
That's why newspapers have an opinion page. Right. It should be opinion should be left to that page, not to the front page.
Right. Well, you and I know that. The editors of the New York Times, the Washington Post, and a host of the Los Angeles Times. I mean, it's a crying shame. The Washington Times as well, Diana West.
Well, you know, the Washington Times is you know, certainly has been covering news from a more conservative angle, but in terms of
I think that's a gentle way to put it. That's like saying the New York Times has a more liberal angle.
Well, yeah, I mean,
come
you know,
on,
if you actually, I don't actually. No, I don't actually work for the Washington Times anymore.
But I would say, have an independent view.
But I do. I have a very independent view.
I
would say if you had a tally of that newsroom, you would find that it probably represents a conservative Democratic split that is much closer to the national average than any of the other newsrooms you're talking about. That said, what we're seeing with the Obama, I think it will eventually ricochet on Obama. I think that people are getting very distressed and irritated about it. But the bias continues, and you know, it even came out with the coverage of these back and forths on gaffes this week in terms of the heirs connection, because most the papers I was reading, USA Today, the Associated Press, they were not covering the challenge that
we got to wrap this up real quickly.
Okay.
Dan, let me interrupt. Give us your thought real quickly on will Obama get a significant bounce out of the Democratic National Convention?
He will, but then McCain will name his BP, and it'll go back to the Republicans all over again.
Thanks, John Call.
6 to 9 points, but it depends who McCain names as the BP, whether he gets the bump or not.
All right. Hank, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Miguel, thank you. Diana, thank you. Appreciate it.